everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. I want to welcome you to the April 20th, 2019 Vinyl Treasure Show. This is my pre-Easter. Passover started already, so we're going to wish everybody happy Passover and happy Easter at the end of the show. But in case I forget, I just want to say happy Easter, happy Passover to those that celebrate. And we opened up tonight's show with the debut single for New York session guitarist James Spurl on Danny Robinson's Everlast record label, a song entitled Jumpin' In. He often worked for Danny and Bobby Robinson, played on many of their releases on the Fire, Fury, Everlast, Enjoy, and Vim labels. You can hear his guitar solos on Dave Baby Cortez's The Happy Organ, also Wilbert Harrison's Kansas City, and also Fannie Mae by Buster Brown, but he got the nickname Wild Jimmy Spurl because he would play his guitar with his teeth. That's what we heard. Anyway, has other releases on CJ, Fire Clock, Vim, and Enjoy. That one there from January 1958 to open up tonight's show. Everlast Records, Jumpin' In by James Spurl and the band. Enough of my babbling here. We started off. I pulled 7 78s out for tonight. I know those of you that like the 78s, I didn't get into my video chat there to say hello, but I will after this release. So let's open it up with a 78, the vocal portion here, and it's a cover song. It was first recorded by the Capris on the Rage label in October of 54. Then it was re-released 1 month later on the Rage label by Mel Williams and the Montclairs. Then at the same time, November 54, it was covered by a group called Buddy Milton and the Twilighters. We're going to give it a spin now on a 78. This one from November 54, RPM Records, Buddy Milton and the Twilighters, and their tune called Ooh Wah.
Baby, you're the one for me. Baby, you were meant for me. I'm madly in love with you. Loving you is such a treat. When you kiss, you can't be beat. Tell me that you love me too. I love the way you walk, I love the way you talk, I love the way you hold me tight.
Yeah.
I love the way you tease, I love the way you squeeze, I love the way you kiss goodnight. Baby, you're the one for me. You're as fine as you can be. Never, never let you go. I love the way you hold me tight.
Yeah.
I love the way you squeeze. I love the way you tease. I love the way you kiss goodnight. Baby, you're the one for me. You're as fine as you can be. Never, never let you go. Never, never let you go. Never, never let you go.
Yeah, we open up on a 78 there by Buddy Milton and the Twilighters. Ooh, was the name of that one. on the Bahari Brothers RPM record label. Actually, that's a 78 that I featured it on, November 1954 release. I also have this on a 45, but I found my first copy on a 78, paid 15 cents for this 78 at Yonkers Raceway Flea Market sometime in the mid-1970s. Used to go there really early on Sunday morning, and it was actually pretty cool because it was up on the top parking lot, and it was nice and flat, and you can scope out all the people setting up, and you would ask, do you have any records? Do you have any records? Do you have any records? And they'd pull cool 45s out back in the mid-1970s and 78s like that one. As we continue here for a Saturday evening, it's all 50s and early 60s 45s out of my collection. Let's go to the 45 now on turntable number 2. And this is by this is on William Henry Miller's Acme label, as this artist is from Long Island, New York, as many who were recorded on this label were this singer was 12 years old when he recorded this. His name is Richard Lanham, with 3 of his brothers, Albert, Danny, and Wally, and 2 other members. They were known as the Tempo Tones, but they're not credited on the label, but they are there backing them up. So let's give it a spin here from January 1957. Richard Lanham and the Tempo Tones on Acme with On Your Radio. That's a pretty fast tune there by Richard Lanham and the Tempo Tones from January 1957 on the Acme record label. On Your Radio is the name of that one. For you collectors out there, the true first presses have the word radio spelled wrong. R-A-I-D-O. Rado is how they spelled it on the 45. Anyway, it still sounds good. Yes, it does. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl 45s and 78s. We switch back to the 78s, and here's a flip side of a 78 I played last week, a rare one by the Crystals, if you have this on a 45. Sid Nathan's Deluxe label. The group is from Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, last week I featured the side called Have Faith in Me. The flip is very nice, too. The second of 3 they recorded on Deluxe Records. Let's go back to February 1954. These are the Crystals on Deluxe. Their 2 tune called My Love. It's a rare 40. Well, it's not a 45. It's a 78. It's a little expensive as a 78, although, I do have my limit on 78s. But anyway, the Crystals, they're the second of three. They're recorded on Sid Nathan's Deluxe Records. The group is out of Cincinnati, Ohio, as is that label. February 54. Song entitled My Love. As we continue, we move into 1955, but it's a request for Bopper Boy Warren. He requested this singer from Rogers, Texas. It's his debut 45. It came out on Sid Nathan's King record label, and he was just 18 years old when he recorded this. He also wrote the tune. We go to October 1955 for Mr. Joe Tex. Joe Tex on King. It's called Davy, You Upset My Home.
Well, my pretty baby used to go for me till they discovered Davy Crockett from Tennessee. She buys a Davy Crockett this, she buys a Davy Crockett that. She even went and bought herself a Davy Crockett hat. You know, David, boy, you upset my home. I said, David, man, you upset my home. Caused me and my baby a lot of grief, and now she's trying to buy some Davy Crockett false teeth because of David. I bust her in her mouth last night. Well, she used to call me her pride and her joy. While even in high school I was her lover boy. But all of a sudden she turned her back on me just because I didn't kill a bear when I was only 3 years. David, you really upset my home. I said, David, man, you upset my home. I cut out all of her hair, she started dancing a jig. I bet she's trying to buy herself a Davy Crockett wig because of David. You really upset my home. believe, but now she can't even stand the sight of me. She used to call me a man, but now she called me a boy, 'cause I didn't fight my way through no Indian war. Yes, David, you really upset my home. I said, David, boy, you upset my home. Well, I whipped her so until she went insane, and now she's trying to buy herself a Davy Crockett brain, because of David, I really busted across her head last night. I tried to get her to see that it was all in vain, to fall in love with just a ghost of a man. She said, now if that's so, then, oh my dear, I'll just get my divorce and marry Paul Revere, because David, you upset my heart.
Yeah, by request there for Bopper Boy Warren. Joe Tex there, that's his first record on Sid Nathan's King record label there, October 1955. You upset, Davy, you upset my home. Violent lyrics, which sound pretty cool on vinyl for sure. Joe Tex would have his biggest hit back in 1972. A 45 that I purchased in that year, a song entitled I Gotcha, came out on the Dial label. I had a number of releases on the Dial label in the mid to late 60s also. Unfortunately, he passed away August 13th, 1982. He was only 49 years old. Passed away from a heart attack. Left us with some cool 45s. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes here. We're going to go back and forth for a few 78s. I pulled about seven until I got to the year 1957. It would have made the show much longer. I have to go back and forth. I don't want to have to put two 45s on at the same time. So anyway, I'm finding the 78s as I go through. So Sir Hats, hopefully you're digging on the cool 78s I'm figuring. So we're going to go to one right now. And I have this one on a 45 also, but the group is from the Morrisania section of the Bronx. They signed with Joe Davis's JD label in 1954. The result were 4 releases. Now, you know their signature song called Smoke from Your Cigarette, which was their second release, but this is their fourth. It features Lillian Leach on lead. We go to August 1955, JD Records. These are the Mellows on a 78 with their tune called Lovable Lily.
Who's that?
I stay dressed to the T. All men love to look at me.
Who's that?
Say it's sweet and plain, 'cause Lovable Lily is my
Out there,
name.
who's that?
When I'm walking down the street,
Who's that?
all the boys turn and take a peek. They all try in vain. 'Cause Lovable Lily is my name. I am the sweetest girl in town. I got all kinds hanging around. They all know my technique is new, makes them tingle through and through.
Who's that?
Wonder what makes them so hot.
You just gotta love Lillian Leach and the Mellows there. And on a 78, that's not a mint copy, but that's another one I paid 25 cents for. It's nice to get 78s for that price, although they do go cheaper than the 45s. But that's a great two-sided 45 there. Yesterday's Memories is the flip of that. But that's Lillian Leach and the Mellows, August 1955, Lovable Lily on the JD record label. Now, after this release, they would sign with Celeste Records for 2 more releases. Then they had 2 more on the Candlelight record label. My understanding is one of the records on Celeste is a different cut on the 78 than it is on the 45. I don't know which one it is, but one of those Lillian Leach and the Mellows 78s is. And there's a couple records like that I know of, that the 78 cut is different than the 45. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here, and on the last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, Bopper Boy Warren requested Charles and Carl, a song entitled Lucky Star. Charles was Charles Simpson and Carl was Carl Hogan, and we played Lucky Star as a request for Warren. Let's give a listen to the flip side before I file it back down in the No Humidity basement. We go to Bobby Robinson's Red Robin record label. This one from July 1955, Charles and Carl. It's called One More Chance. July 1955 release there for Charles and Carl on Red Robin Records there. One More Chance is the name of that one. Charles and Carl, Charles Sampson and Carl Hogan. Those are the duo. That is the duo there as we continue here and we move into 1956. We stay with the duos though, but it's a favorite here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. They had 16 releases on High Weiss's Old Town record label between the years 1956 and 1962. You know their signature song was from 1958. Song entitled We Belong Together, but let's give a listen to the B-side to their second release, written by the duo Robert Carr and Johnny Mitchell. Here are Robert and Johnny. This is on a 78. We flip back to the 78s on Old Town Records from October 56, and their tune called $1 Million Bills.
I do I really, really love you. Baby doll, sugar pie, you got something money can buy. Oh, I love you. Oh, yes, I do. Baby doll, sugar pie. Ooh, I've got millions, all dollar bills, dollar bills. Can't buy a thing. I need you. Oh, yes, I do. I need you. I do. Money can't buy single thing anymore. I love you, yes I do. Say that you love me too. I've got millions, all dollar bills, can't buy a thing. I need you. Oh, yes, I do. Baby doll, sugar pie. Ooh, baby doll, sugar pie.
Duets here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Had two in a row, Charles and Carl. That's Robert and Johnny. October 1956 release on High Wise's Old Town record label. $1 Million Bills is the name of that one. I played it on a 78. I found that one. Actually, I found out about that song when I purchased a box of used 78s at that Yonkers Raceway flea market for a few bucks, and I'm glad I did. I got a lot of cool 78s out of that one. If they're not too badly worn, although 78s do play well even if they are worn, depending on the previous owner's needle. Yes, actually last week, I was kind of upset because I had the copyright police. What they do is, even though in the US they did not ban my video, they banned it in the UK. 7 countries they banned it in because I played the Moonglow 78, We Go Together. So when I could erase it, they have a program where I could erase the song and then they repost it, but I lose the video chat, which kind of pissed me off because there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on in the chat room, and it's not there. So when you don't see that chat, I had to resave the video because you can always go back and watch. If you miss any of the show, you can go back and check it out. But I was not happy with that. Why that song? We Go Together? I don't know. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue. We are in the year 1956. Let's go to Sid Archie and Leo Rogers' Tip Top label. They managed a number of labels here in the New York area, Lido, All-Star, to name a few. Now, the group is called The Creations, and this is their first release. I think I was doing some research on this. I think the lead singer here is Don Razor, and he previously was a member of the Velvets on Red Robin and the Valentines when they recorded on the Old Town record label. But this one's from November of 56. Give a listen to The Creations on Tip Top. It's called Mommy and Daddy.
Mommy and daddy, mommy and daddy, mommy and daddy, may I go with Shirley because I love her and she loves me. Ooh, we are mommy and daddy,
Please don't say no, no. Say yes with your blessings. We want each other so. I know that I'm only 16, but I love her so. Mommy and Daddy, if you could see my heart, then you know just what I mean. Oh, Mommy and Daddy, someday we'll get married and we'll raise a family. Just you wait and see. Mommy, 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 Daddy, oh, Mommy, Daddy, 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 Mommy, Daddy, oh. I know that I'm only 16, oh yeah, I love the girl and so. Ooh, Mommy and Daddy, if you can see my heart, then you know what I mean. Oh, Mommy and Daddy, someday we'll get married and we'll raise a family. Just you wait and see. Mommy,
Yes, dear?
may I go with Shirley?
No, dear, I'm very sorry. You've been a very bad boy tonight.
Please, Mommy.
No, dear, I'm very sorry.
Daddy.
Daddy, oh, mommy.
Daddy!
Mommy, daddy, oh,
Boy, I tell you, go upstairs and take a bath. You know.
mommy. Daddy, oh, mommy. Daddy, mommy. Daddy, oh, mommy. Daddy, mommy. Daddy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
They're called The Creations, November 1956. Tip Top Records, their tune called Mommy and Daddy. John G here for a Saturday evening. We continue now. We are in the year 1956. Let's go back to the 78s as we continue with another flip side from last week's Vinyltreasure Show. I played the 78 by the Mint Juleps on Al Silver's Herald record label. A group from Springfield, Massachusetts featured the side called Vip a Dip. That was the jump side. The flip is an excellent ballad. It features Alvin Clark on lead. We go to June of 1956 on Al Silver's Herald label, the Mint Juleps with Bells of Love.
Boom, 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 boom,
Those bells are ringing, can't you hear them ringing? I know that we'll never be in love. Oh, baby, can't you see that I wanna marry you? You said you love me, I know you was wrong, but still I go on feeling this way. Oh, baby, can't you see that I wanna marry you? Marry you. You know you did me wrong. Hold me like it ran not home. Still I love you. Yes, I love you. And I won't stop till I make you mine, mine forever, evermore, forever and a day. Say you're mine, my darling, I love you. Please, mine forever, forever, evermore. I love you. Ooh.
Like that tune there by the Mint Juleps, June 1956 release. Bells of Love is the name of that one. Featured it on a Herald 78. It plays pretty nice. Plays better than the 45. Yes, it does. Interesting fact about this group is that actor Sidney Poitier's brother, George, was a member of this group, which would evolve into the Dreamtones that recorded on the Click label. Love in the Afternoon is that record by the Dreamtones. That's a great record that they do. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We move into the year 1957 with a B-side from last week as we head to Memphis, Tennessee, to a label called OJ Records. Now, this group is from Atlanta, Georgia. They're called the Rockin' Dukes. Last week, I featured the ballad side. It was called Angel and a Rose. The flip is an up-tempo. We go to September 1957, OJ Records. These are the Rockin' Dukes. It's called My Baby Left Me.
Hey, hey.
My baby done left me, yeah, she's gone. My baby done left me, yeah, she's gone. Oh, she went away with all of my pain. And you know one thing, I haven't seen her this day. My baby done left me, yeah, she's gone. My baby done left me all alone. It was the first time, won't be the last time. My baby done left me, yeah, she's gone. Well, she went away yesterday. Well, she went away with all of my pain. Well, she went away and left me alone. I wish she'll come back and I'll be gone. My baby done left me, yeah, she's gone. My baby done left me all alone. It was the first time, won't be the last time. My baby done left me, yeah, she's gone. Yeah, she's gone. Yeah, she's gone. Yeah, she's gone.
There you go there with the Rockin' Dukes. The Rockin' Dukes, September 1957. That's the B-side of the 45. My Baby Left Me. The flip side of Angel and a Rose came out on the OJ record label. As we continue here, we go back to the 78s, as I can't flip the page here. But you all know this next group out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Their biggest hit was a classic song entitled Come Go With Me. First came out on the Phoebe record label, then nationally distributed by Dot Records. Now, the follow-up to that hit was a song entitled What Made Maggie Run. But I'm going to play the B-side of this 78 on this, and it features Crip Johnson on lead. An interesting thing about this song is that Dot released this song later as the B-side to the record I'm Spinning, Crip Johnson's I'm Spinning, in August of 57, but it's a shorter version. The Phoebe release has 2 more verses and an instrumental bridge, so it's much longer, but what's really printed on the label, on the Phoebe label, is that it's 3 seconds shorter than the Dot release, so that doesn't make any kind of sense whatsoever, but it is a fact. Let's give it a spin here. I'm featuring it on a Phoebe 78, which is pretty cool. It's a Stone Mint copy here from April 1957, the Dell Vikings with Crip Johnson on lead. It's called When I Come Home.
Tell me please, won't you tell me please, let me know, put my mind
that you'll hug and kiss me. Will you be there when I come home? May the angels sing in heaven. May Gabriel blow his horn when I'm with you. Oh, my darling, nothing really wrong. When I come home, may God be with me. I hope and pray that you'll hug and kiss me. Will you be there when I come home? When I come home, may God be with me. I hope and pray that you'll hug and kiss me. Will you be there when I come home? Please tell me, please, won't you tell me, please? Let me know, put my mind at ease when I come home.
Oh, those are the great Dell Vikings there. Crip Johnson on lead for that one. April 1957, When I Come Home is the name of that one. Featured it on the Phoebe label on a 78. You hear that instrumental break there? It's not on your dot 45. If you have it on the dot 45, no, it is not. But that is a pretty cool sound there for that one. I've never seen another Phoebe 78. I got to thank Glenn Fossil. He was Louis Silvani's helper at the Times Square Records when Louis took off for many years until he passed away. And he was a big Beatles collector. And I told him, I said, look, he wanted 2 Beatle albums I had. I had the Beatles versus the Four Seasons, and I think I had Tony Sheridan and the Beatles. I picked them up at a church sale for 5 cents. And he said, do you have the poster on the Beatles versus the Four Seasons? I didn't have it. He said, well, I have some 78s I'm willing to trade with some cash. I says, okay. I says, we'll do the deal. So he gave me about 578s, a little bit of cash, and I let him look through a couple other albums. So he took like some 60s albums like Stevie Wonder, Boy Genius, and some Motown albums from the latter 60s. But I was willing to let that go for stuff like this. By all the 5 Keys, a lot of stuff on Rama, a lot of stuff on Federal, a lot of stuff on Apollo, but nice records. They were all store stock, and that's one of them. Johnny G babbling on here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here. We are in the year 1957 now. On last week's Final Treasure Show, I played a request for Bopper Boy Warren. He requested the Rays on the Chess label, the A side of their second Chess release. It was called How Long Must I Wait for You? Let's give a listen to the flip side before I file it back down in the no humidity basement. It features Hal Miller on lead. We go back to November of 1957. Chess Records. These are the Rays. It's called Second Fiddle.
Don't remember the night when we met. Try not to remember kissed, I held your heart. You couldn't resist. All of those heartaches are faded and gone. Who's playing second fiddle now? You can't show your face. You can't bear the disgrace. When I whisper to the world that I love you, I'm everywhere. I'd be anywhere, building our romance anew. Don't you remember the last time we kissed? I held your heart. You couldn't resist. All of those heartaches are faded and gone. Who's playing second fiddle now? Who's playing second fiddle now?
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Rays, Hal Miller and the Rays. Leonard Chess's Chess label for that one, November 1957, song entitled Second Fiddle. Their biggest hit was the song Silhouettes, first came out on the XYZ record label. I have that like on a grayish XYZ label. Then it was picked up by Cameo Records. They had others, actually quite a few on XYZ. There's actually a rare one on XYZ that I don't have, one of those. Topix Records, Perry and Amy. That was their last release on the Amy label, at least for the Rays. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on these cool 45s and 78s. Got the last 78 up next. Now, how about the Drifters? I haven't heard them in a while. We go back to the 78s. This is their 15th release by the Drifters on Atlantic. It's their follow-up to Fools Fall in Love, which featured Johnny Moore on lead for Fools Fall in Love. Now, this next release features Gerhard Thrasher on lead. Let's go to May of 1957. It's Atlantic Records. These are the Drifters on a 78. It's called Drifting Away from You.
I used to be happy and so carefree. My worries were light as could be, but now they've started all over again because you drifted away from me, drifting away. I love you, my dear, for it's plain to see your heart is cold and you want to be free. Come back, I need you near. Oh, please don't drift away from me. Let it be. Don't be a fool and listen to what others have to say. Darling, don't walk out of my life like this. Oh, please don't drift away. Now that you know the way that I'm feeling. Tell me what will your answer be? Do you fill my heart with happiness, or will you drift away from me? Don't drift away from me.
That's one you often don't hear by the Drifters. I don't think they play that on Sirius XM. The Drifters, their Gerhardt Thrasher on lead, May 1957 release, Drifting Away From You, featured that one there on the Atlantic record label. The song written by Jimmy Oliver. He was the group's personal guitarist. Played guitar on all their songs. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. And up next, a request for Bopper Boy Warren. He wanted to hear the Cadillacs. And in the spring of 1957, the group split into two different groups. Two new groups evolved from the Cadillacs, but they continued to record on Jerry Blaine's Josie label. One was led by Earl Carroll. They were called the Original Cadillacs. The other one was led by Jimmy Bailey. They were still called just the Cadillacs. And they were releasing records at the same time they were. Now, Warren requested a side by the Original Cadillacs. And I also love this tune. It features Earl Carroll on lead. We go to June of 1957. These are the Original Cadillacs on Josie Records, Earl Carroll on lead, a song entitled Hurry Home.
The night you left me, how it rang. My heart was broken, so full of pain, and I want you to hurry home to me. I grabbed my pillow, so tight. How I remember squeezing you that night, and I want you to hurry home to me. Everyone thought we'll never part, and you would be my wife. Nobody knows how the story goes unless they have lived this life. If we should ever meet again, want you to know my heart's in pain, and I want you to hurry home to me. And I want you to hurry home to me.
By request for Bopper Boy Warren there, those are the Original Cadillacs. Earl Carroll on lead, June 1957, Josie Records, a song entitled Hurry Home. Remember finding that one the first time I found that, 25 cents at the 303 Drive-In over in Orangeburg, New York. That's another flea market I used to go to. That one was a little bit more difficult. It was all on like rocks. These rocks, the cars would pull up. You know, they have all the posts for the drive-in, and all these cars would pull up to the posts, and they would set out, and they'd bring their, and there's like the little road there, so the tables would be right there, and you walk through, and you have to look under the tables for 45. That was a lot of fun back then. I don't have the time now. Wish I did. And you're not going to find, very hard to find records now out there at garage. You're going to find 80s and 70s maybe, but sometimes you'll be lucky. You will. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue. This next song was heard a lot on oldie radio in the early 70s and through the years. A lot of the oldie stations would play this. Not much anymore now, but they played this one so much that there were 3 different presses of this 45, each with a slightly different label design. I'm featuring, though, the true original, which features Tommy Drumgooley on lead. We go to September of 19 1957. Kitty leads here. They're called the Val Chords. The Val Chords on the Game Time label. It's called Candy Store Love. John G here for a Saturday evening. I don't know if are both playing now. Maybe now it's back. I don't know what's going on here with my mixer here, but something's going on. I think I got it back now finally. But anyway, those are the Val Chords. The Val Chords September 1957 release there. Candy Store Love is the name of that one on the Game Time record label, and I featured it on the original label. Now you can. You have to check your horizontal lines on your 45. If you have one thick and one thin line, it's the true first press. If you have just one thin line, then you have the second press. But if you have the wavy lines, you have the third press, and that goes for the cheapest. I guess Johnny G is back again. I see the two channels now. As we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show, got a request for listener Métis Campboy from California. She wanted to hear this great group out of Cincinnati, Ohio. They had over 50 releases on Sid Nathan's Deluxe and King labels between the years 1953 and 1964, and the lead singer on all those releases except one was Otis Williams. Now, Métis requested the one that he did not do lead. Otis did not do lead on this song, and it's a cover song first recorded by the Love Notes on the Holiday label. This side features Lonnie Carter on lead. We go to June of 1957 for Otis Williams and His Charms with Lonnie Carter on lead. It's Deluxe Records, their rendition of the tune United.
Together we stand, divided we fall. Together in love, or no love at all.
We are united. Together we'll be. Forever we'll stay till eternity.
Yeah. By request for Matey Campboy, listening over in California, she requested Otis Williams and the Charms from June of 1957 on Deluxe Records. Their rendition of the tune United featured Lonnie Carter on lead, not Otis Williams, and wonder who the gal was on that song there. I wonder who she was. But anyway, this song by the Charms would be their last Billboard R&B chart, made it up to number 5, last charted Billboard hit, I guess we'll call it, because this made it up to number 5 on the Billboard R&B chart. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We move into the year 1958. And this is a record to celebrate Easter with, as the song was recorded in the basement of label owner Alfred Cright Mason Jr. So it's unfortunate, though, that the sound quality is not the greatest. Now, it's on the Masons label. Now, the song was written by the lead singer Bernard Felden, and the song sometimes is referred to as the Bunny Bunny song. So this is my Easter song for tonight from 1958. It's on Mason's Records. These are the Thrashers with Jeannie.
Bunny, 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 oh, baby, bunny, 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 bunny,
Sounds of 1958 here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Something going on with my mixer today. And I don't know, there's some kind of hum coming from it. I wonder if it's the grounder or something. But something's going on. But those are the Thrashers, 1958, Jeannie on the Masons record label. The originals are difficult to find on this 45. Now, Slim Rose, owner of the Times Square record shop, was able to get this 45 reissued on red vinyl. So those red vinyls that you see floating around, those are the reissues from like 1961 or so. But anyway, still a cool record. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. We are in the year 1958. We head back out to California to Mushmouth Robinson's Chief label. Now, the group is called Little Freddie with the Rockets, but it's really not a vocal group. It's a duo. It's a duo of Alfred Smith and Don Morris. Now, Alfred Smith would change his name in 1960 to Brenton Wood, who had hits in 1967. You may know the tunes, the Oogum Boogum song or Gimme Little Sign. Those were big hits for him. But this is back in 1958. He was singing as Little Freddie and the Rockers. We go to October of 58 on the Chief record label. The song is called All My Love.
You do, my dear. I've given all my love, for there are so fair. Why, oh why, won't you give me what is there for me? Given all my love, I've given all of my love on a silver platter. I've given all of my heart, and I give you everything that's part of me. Treat me like you do, my dear. I've given all of my love, oh, all my love, yes, all my love, all my love.
October 1958 release there for Little Freddie and the Rockets on the Chief record label, song entitled All My Love. That singer there is Brenton Wood. Brenton Wood doing lead there for that one. And I also found out that he was a member of a group called the Carthays that recorded on the Tag label back in 1961. I have that record. Gonna have to pull that one out. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here. And last week I played a request for Rick in Philly. He requested a record by the Charts. I played the A-side of their 4th of 5 on Danny Robinson's Everlast record label. The song was called I Told You So. I also like the B-side of the record as we go to July of 1958. Joe Greer's on lead. This is Everlast Records. These are the Charts with their tune called All Because of Love.
And then he killed up. I tell you this, my darling, stay true. All the same thing could happen to you. All because of love. I wish someone would tell me why. You fed me her, say I love you so. Get your money, zoom, and away she go. I tell you, darling, you on the wrong track. Keep my money, but bring yourself back. All because of love. I wish someone would tell me why. I tell you, darling, I really love you so, and I will never, never, never let you go. No, 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 no. I tell you, darling, while you're standing there, you are the one, the only one for me, my dear. I had a friend who fell in love with her. She put him down and then he killed her. I tell you this, my darling, stay true. All the same
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Those are the charts. Joe Greer on lead, July 1958 release. All Because of Love is the name of that one. I got to go back and listen. Controversial scene early in the song. I have to listen back to that. Daryl, I will. As we continue here, we are in the year 1958. Let's continue with another request for listener Matey Campboy. She requested this group out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, consisted of Fiore del Bouno, that's how you say it, and a lead singer. Fiore di Bouno was the lead singer. Dominic Salvatore, Joe Giglio, and Bobby Police. Collectively, they were known as the Frankie Greer Quartet. Now, Matey requested the A-side of the 45. It's on the Swan label from November 58, the Frankie Greer Quartet, a song entitled Oh Gloria. By request for Matey Campboy listening in California. I haven't heard that one in a long, long time. The Frankie Greer Quartet from November of 1958 on the Swan label out of Philadelphia, PA, a song entitled Oh Gloria. And we are in that golden year of 1958 for this next group. They're from Brooklyn, New York. They were signed to Capitol Records, and you would think they would have had one hit in the 4 releases that came out on the Capitol label, but it never happened for the group. The best thing to hit for them was a re-release of their first record, originally in 58, then again in 1961, but I think it was Times Square Records and Slim Rose that had a lot to do with that. But their debut 45 was a song called Chapel Bells that I first heard on the Gus Gossard Show. But I'm going to play the B-side to that 45. It was written by the lead singer. His name is Tony Pasalacqua. We go to September of 1958. Give a listen to the Fascinators on Capitol. And it's the B-side called I Wonder Who.
Well, now, who could love
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Fascinators with Tony Pasalacqua on lead. September 1958. That's the B-side to Chapel Bell's I Wonder Who is the name of that one on the Capitol record label. Featured it on the, is it called the promotional debut record, those yellow label promos. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue now and have another request for Matey Campoy out in California. We go back to Sid Nathan's Deluxe label for another duo. It's the first of two they recorded for Deluxe Records. They're Reggie Rodriguez and Jimmy Lopez, better known as Reggie and Jimmy, and it's a song they wrote. We go to August of 58 by request for Matey Campoy. This is on Deluxe Records, Reggie and Jimmy. It's called You're Leaving. By request for Matey Campoy out in California, tuned into the Vinyl Treasure Show, Reggie and Jimmy. That's their first record on Sid Nathan's Deluxe record label. You're Leaving is the name of that one. August 1958 release. Now their second release, they Reggie changed his name to Eddie. Called Eddie and Jimmy on their second release. I have to find that 45 because I do have it somewhere in the No Humidity basement. Johnny G's here for a Saturday evening, not leaving yet. Not till 12 midnight, maybe a little bit of Vinyl Treasure overtime as we continue here. We are in the year of 1958. Now, before Benny King found success as a member of the Drifters on Atlantic, he was a member of a group called the Crowns, and he was using his real name when he was a member of the Crowns. It was Benjamin Earl Nelson. Now, when he was with this group, other members included James Papa Clark, Doc Green Jr., Ellsbury Hobbs and Charlie Thomas. Now, this is the group that would eventually replace the old Drifters that were all breaking up while they were at Atlantic Records, and they're called the Crowns. Now, this song was written by Doc Pomus and Mort Schumann, and they put it out on their own label. They own this label, R&B Records. It features Charlie Thomas on lead. We go to February 1958, R&B Records for the Crowns. It's called Kiss and Make Up.
Come on, kiss and make up. Stop acting like a foolish child. Is this a game? Am I on trial? Well, alright, you were right, I was wrong. Come on, kiss and make up. The thing has gone far enough. Why don't you stop this kid stuff? If you doubt me and you can get along, we had a quarrel, a silly, 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 silly quarrel. You said this was the end, we couldn't even be friends. Please hear my plea. Come back to me, come on, kiss and make up. Run right into my loving arms. I'll never do you any harm. Don't go away, come back and stay where you belong. We had a quarrel, a silly, 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 silly quarrel. You said this was the end, we couldn't even be friends. Please hear my plea. Come back to me, come on, kiss and make up. Run right into my loving arms. I'll never do you any harm. Don't go away, come back and stay where you belong. Don't go away, come back and stay where you belong. Don't go away, come back and stay where you belong. Don't go away, come back and stay where you belong. Don't go away, come back and stay where you belong.
February 58 release for the Crowns on the R&B record label. Charlie Thomas on lead for that one. Kiss and Make Up is the name of that tune. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here. We move in the year 1959. Now, last week I played a request for Bopper Boy Warren by a group called the Swallows, a.k.a. the Guides, on the Philadelphia-based Guidon record label. It was called You Must Try. Now, the B-side is also an excellent tune. It was written by the guy who discovered the group, that being George Mottola and his wife Ricky Page. It features Carlton Beck on lead. We go to August of 1959. These are the Swallows. I'm featuring it on the original label, the original release by the Swallows. The stock copies say the Guides, but this is on Guidon Records. It's called How Long Must a Fool Go On?
You've forgotten me, the happiness we shared. Yes, it's plain to see you never really cared. I'm just a fool. How long must a fool go on? How long? How long? How long? Once I used to be your only pride and joy. Now you're tired of me, just like a broken toy. I'm just a fool. How long must a fool go on?
You told me you'd always be true, but the vows you made, they were only lies. Now I'm alone with the heart that cries. I still love you more each time I hear your name, even though I know that it will be in vain. I'm just a fool. How long must a fool go on? How long must a fool go on? Do you remember? Do you
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Great two-sided 45. From August 59 on the Guidon label, The Swallows, How Long Must a Fool Go On? I think the promos identify the group as the Swallows, and the stock copies show them as the Guides, the same group, Carlton Beck on lead. That's a great tune. We continue now. We are in the year 1959. Now, haven't heard this next song in a while by this great Harlem, New York group. It's unfortunate that this song was never a hit, but came out on Bobby Robinson's Fire record label, a label he created while he was being sued. Bobby Robinson was being sued by Herman Lubinsky for a release on the Fury label. He was actually stole Wilbert Harrison from Savoy, as Harrison had a major hit on Fury. It was called Kansas City. Not knowing the results of the lawsuit while they were in litigation, in the summer of 1959, he said, I'm not releasing any other artists on the Fury label just in case I really lose everything. So he created a new label called Fire Records. And what he did, he told Earl Lewis and the Channels, you're going to be recording on this Fire label. And here they are with this record from August of 59 on the Fire label, Earl Lewis and the Channels. It's called The Girl Next Door.
Oh, how
August 59, Earl Lewis and the Channels on the Fire label, a song entitled The Girl Next Door. Now, Bobby Robinson would eventually lose that lawsuit. He had to pay Savoy Records $20,000. And back in 1959, $20,000 was a lot of money. He lost that suit because of that big hit he had on Fury called Kansas City. Anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue. Got another one out of the year 1959. Now, last week on the Vinyltreasure Show, I played a 45 by Bill Baker and the Chestnuts. They're out of New Haven, Connecticut. I played the B-side of their 45, actually their first, on Clarence Drum's Elgin label. The song was called Tell Me Little Darling. Now, let's give a listen to the intended A-side before I file this one back down in the no humidity basement. We go back to January of 1959 on the Elgin label for Bill Baker and the Chestnuts, and their song is called Won't You Tell Me My Heart.
Won't you tell me my heart? Is it fated to be? Won't you tell me my heart? Is her love meant for me? And when I kiss her, does she really care? Or am I just to her another brief affair? Won't you tell me my heart? While I'm holding her tight, is there somebody else? She wants through the night. Will she be my love forever? Or were we meant to part? Won't you please tell me now? Won't you tell me my heart? Won't you tell me my heart? Won't you tell me my heart?
We'll send that one out to my administrative assistant, Charlene Whiteside of Huntsville, Texas. She likes that tune by Bill Baker and the Chestnuts. Very nice song there called Won't You Tell Me My Heart. That's the first of two on the Elgin label. The group out of New Haven, Connecticut, January 1959 release. Got one last 45 out of the year of 1959. We head back out to the West Coast to Max Feartag's Flip label for Richard Berry, former lead baritone and bass for the Flares. Now, he left Modern Records to sign with Flip in 1956, and he recorded with three different groups that backed him up: the Pharaohs, the Dreamers, and the Lockettes. But here's his seventh of 9 on Flip Records here, and he's backed up by the Pharaohs. It's a song he wrote. We go to November of 1959, Flip Records for Richard Berry and the Pharaohs, a song entitled Have Love Will Travel.
Ba 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 ba.
had Richard Berry with the Pharaohs there, the 7th of 9, recorded on the Flip record label. November 1959 release, Have Love Will Travel. Next week, program note, will be the last Saturday of the month. That'll be the all 60s edition of the Vinyltreasure Show. So if you dig on those 60s, you want to tune in next Saturday from 10 to midnight. If not, I'll be back in 2 weeks for more 50s and early 60s 45s out of my collection. Actually, no 78s next week, Sir Hats. So played 7 this week. Got to go back and check it out on the archive if you missed any of the show as we continue here. Let's move into the year 1960. Let's stay out on the West Coast for this group that was named after a make of a Cadillac car. They were called the DeVilles. I drive a DeVille, a 2010 DeVille. I love it, but starting to go bad. But anyway, their first release was in 1958 on the Aladdin record label. Their second came out in 59 on the Orbit label. This was their third, which came out on a label called Talent Records. So let's give it a spin here. The DeVilles out of Los Angeles, California. It's from March of 60. It's called Goddess of Angels.
Angel, 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 angel. Goddess of angels, that's what you are. To me you light up like the evening star. For you are my guide when you're by my side. Goddess of angels, my only love. Queen of my heart, you'll always be. Never know one but you for me. I love you so much, I need your touch. Goddess of angels, my only love. Just for a day, you would only have to command. It would be so sweet to give such a treat and place it before your hand. Don't ever leave me or say goodbye, 'cause if you do, you know I'll cry. For when you've gone, why should I live on? Goddess of angels, angel, my love.
That's a nice tune. They're actually not easy to find. Eddie Estrada in California found that one at a record hop or something he did. He goes, Johnny G, do you need this 45? And I did. I haven't heard from Eddie Estrada. I hope he's doing okay. I don't know if he was at the Allentown, PA show. I'd have to check it out. But I used to call me up with rare records that he used to find out in California. Got a lot of nice things from Eddie Estrada, like that one. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. And one of my aunt used to had a bunch of Ritchie Valens 45s in her collection. She used to like, Come On, Let's Go. She bought Donna and La Bamba. She had an album. She had his Ritchie Valens album also. But after that awful plane crash, February 3rd of 1959, Bob Keane, the owner of Delphi Records, who discovered Ritchie Valens, continued to release his records. And with each new release after that, he would mention on the label's Limited Valens Memorial Series. Then he even had an EP, and then the LPs came out for Ritchie Valens. But here's one Ritchie co-wrote that's not really easy to find. It was really the last Ritchie Valens 45 to come out on Bob Keane's Delphi record label. As we go back to February of 1960, this is Delphi Records, Ritchie Valens with Cry, Cry, Cry.
Well, now my baby's gone. She left me all alone. Well, now my baby's just gone. I don't have no one home. Every night so dark and lonely. My heart is heavy like a stone. Cry, cry all night. Oh, yeah. Well, now, little darling, come back home. Yeah, one time. Come on, little darling. Oh, one more time. Come on and say you'll be mine. Now that you're gone and left me, I'll always have you on my mind. Cry, cry all night. Oh, yeah. Well, now, little darling, come back home. Well, now, little baby, I'm gonna leave my homestead. I'm gonna try and lose it from out of my head. And then if I can't lose you, I'm gonna die in my bed. Cry, cry all night. Oh, yeah. Well, now, little darling, come back home.
That's the last single for Ritchie Valens on Bob Keane's Delphi record label. Cry, 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 released in February 1960 on that awful styrene vinyl. You know how Johnny G hates styrene 45s, but let's continue here. And we move into the year 1961. This next group, they're out of Baltimore, Maryland. They had two releases on the YRS record label. I'm featuring the intended B-side of their first release, which is supposedly much harder than their second release. Paid a little bit of money for this next 45. It's from November of 61. They're called the Gold Tones. The song is called I'm So Lonely.
The days seem like years, and when the night comes, it brings my cheer. Since you've left me, I have been in misery. Yes, because I'm lonely, so lonely. I'm so lonely, so lonely. Yes, because I'm so blue, so
That group is called the Gold Tones. They're out of Baltimore, Maryland. That's their first of two on the YRS record label, November 1961. I'm So Lonely is the name of that one. It's actually pretty cool. This is on a red label. Their second one is like on a light aqua green color label. Cool 45s here for a Saturday evening. We are in the year 1961. We can go to Detroit, Michigan for an early Motown 45. Now, this group had 4 releases on Berry Gordy Jr.'s Motown label. This is their second, which is more of a cover versus an answer song, as some people put it. That it is and they thought it would be the answer to the Shirelles' Will You Love Me Tomorrow, but it sounds more like a cover, although with different lyrics. And I think Berry Gordy Jr. would eventually be sued by Scepter Records and Aldon Music Publishing for this version of the song with strings, which is the slower version, which is the first version that I'm featuring. It features Jim Ellis on lead. We go to April of 61 for the Satin Tones on Motown Records and their tune called Tomorrow and Always.
Tonight you're mine completely. You give your love so sweetly. Tonight each beat of my heart says I'll love you tomorrow and always. This is for all eternity. This burning love for you and me. Not just tonight, but forever. I'll love you tomorrow and always. Tonight the words fail me. True love is shining in my eyes. Each thrill of your kiss tells me I'll feel the same come sunrise. I pledge to you that my love is a love that you can depend on. If you should ask, I'll say again, I'll love you tomorrow and always. If you should ask, I'll say again, I'll love you tomorrow and always. You know that I'll love you tomorrow and always. I'll love you tomorrow and always. I'll love you tomorrow.
April 61 release there, the Satin Tones. Jim Ellis on lead for that one. Tomorrow and Always sounding so much like Will You Love Me Tomorrow came out on the Motown record label. The second version, where Berry Gordy Jr. released the second version faster than that one. I have it. And they just went bonkers, though. Scepter Records said, you know what, you can't play that. They had a cease and desist, so they had to pull that record, unfortunately. So none of the none of the DJs could play that record anymore once that suit was filed. Anyway, you'll hear it here, though, on the Vinyltreasure Show. Let's continue now, and let's move into 1962. We go back out to Los Angeles, California, to Rudy Harvey's Amazon label. Amazon Records, their claim to fame was 2 hits by Janelle Hawkins. They were called Moments. I think the other one was Money, a cover of the Richard Barrett Strong tune. But anyway, this artist, actually this song that I'm playing is a standard, I guess we can say, for a lot of vocal groups, because many groups recorded this song through the years. Groups like the Harptones, the Highlanders, the Del Vikings. Can you guess what song I'm going to play? The Etta James, Lonnie Hurd, Jan and Dean, and others. But here's a version by someone by the name of Vince Love. This one from 1962. Vince Love on Amazon, his rendition of the tune Sunday Kind of Love.
I'm through with my old love. I love her through and through. I'm searching for a new love. Can that new love be you?
I want a Sunday kind of love, a love to last past Saturday night. I want to know more than love at first sight. I want a Sunday kind of love. I want a love that's on the square. Can't seem to find nobody to care. I'm on a lonely road that gets me nowhere. I want a Sunday kind of love. Whoa, I do my Sunday dreaming and all my Sunday scheming, every minute, every hour, every day, hoping to discover a certain kind of lover
Who will show me the way?
My heart needs someone to and fro, keep me warm when Mondays are cold. A love for all my life to have and to hold. I want a Sunday kind of. I want a Sunday kind of love. I want a Sunday kind of love. I want a Sunday kind of love. I want a Sunday kind of love.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Vince Love's his name. 1962 released there his rendition of the tune Sunday Kinda Love on the Amazon record label. We stay in the year 1962. Posted this one up on my Facebook wall. You can check it out. You can check out the picture there. This time we head to San Francisco, California for a group that initially recorded on the Rhythm record label in 1959 with a song called Every Night. Then in 1962, they recorded for Mary E. Johnson's Skylight record label. They backed up 2 of the artists on that label, Ida Valentine and Leo Valentine. I'm guessing that they probably were husband and wife, but maybe. But then they would have one on their own on the Skylight record label, and they would record as William Wigfall and the Lyrics, and this is the intended B-side. It's a very rare 45 for you collectors out there if you have this. This is the rarest 45 I'll be featuring for the night. Unfortunately, it was terribly pressed. A lot of the records up out in the Bay Area do not really sound well. Some of them were pressed with like a hand machine to press some of these records. But anyway, it's from 1962 Skylight Records, William Wigfall and the Lyrics. It's called Got to Get Along.
got to get along. Wrote you a letter, wanting you to know I miss you, baby. Who'd swear I do, but I got to get along without your love. You know I love you right from the start. Well, baby, you're gonna break my heart, but I got to get along. Oh yes, without your love. I get that feeling. Oh yes, that feeling. I really do. Well, baby, I get that feeling. I do. I really do. You know, you know, you know. You know I love you right from the start. Well, baby, you're gonna break my poor heart, but I got to get along. Oh yes, without your love.
See, they don't play well. I told you they don't play well, but that's an ultra rare 45 from the year 1962. William Wigfall and the Lyrics on Skylight Records, song entitled Got to Get Along. I remember when William Wigfall's wife contacted me and asked me if I had his releases. And I told him that I did. I found him, Rockin' Jim Rigsby, over at, I forget the station out in California. He's on Monday nights, late Monday nights, like after midnight. And somehow he found out about my show. He used to actually come in the Top Shelf Oldies chat room. He used to tell me, he used to come in as papered stacks, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And he used to tell me, I think he's the only surviving member of that group, the Lyrics, but he was reminiscing about his career back then. I don't know what happened to him. It's been a while now since I've heard from him, but I do have all his emails. He gave me very interesting information. Those are the Lyrics. A few more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off here. Let's move into 1963 with a girl group sound. This is on the Domain record label. Actually, I think this is really Cheryl Townsend. I'm not sure. I got to ask my buddy John Clemente if this is Cheryl Townsend, because this song also came out later in the year of 1963, I think in July of 63, as the Crayons on the Council label. But this is the first press on the Domain label as Florence and the Nightingales. That's the name of the group. And it's from March of 63. And this song reminds me of some Connie Francis tune. See if it does the same to you, but it reminds me of a Connie Francis record. Anyway, it's by Florence and the Nightingales. It's on Domain Records. It's called Crazy Dream.
Over my head, I didn't want to go to sleep. I know just what my dreams would be. Baby, I dreamed that you still love me, just like it used to be. But oh, nothing that can do me any harm. Just as long as I'm by your side, oh, I'm the happiest woman alive. But oh, I said I know it's just a crazy dream. Crazy dream, turn me loose, set me free. I can't stand this misery. Turn me loose, yeah, let me be. You don't love me, I can see, because of I said I know. Yeah, it's just a crazy dream. It's just a crazy dream.
Yeah, that guitar work sounds so much like Connie Francis' Lipstick on Your Collar. Exact note for note there, but the flip side's a great ballad. You got to tune in 2 weeks. I'll play the flip side of that. Florence and the Nightingales, March 1963. Crazy Dream is the name of that one on the Domain record label. It also came out as the Crayons on the Council record label. 2 more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off here. And up next is a request for Lino listening out in California. Thank you, Lino, for contacting me for this 45. I haven't played this one. I don't think I've ever featured this song on the Vinyltreasure Show. He wanted to hear the first of 2 for this group out of Chester, Pennsylvania. Came out on the Philadelphia Hawthorne label. Now, their second release on Hawthorne was a local hit in 1966, was picked up by Parkway Records, a song entitled Shipwreck, but this is their first, which was a number of years earlier, 2 years earlier, and it's a very young female lead on this. So we go back to either 64 or 65 by request for Lino for the Twilights on Hawthorne, a song entitled It's Been So Long.
Get to
so long. It's been so long. It's been so long. It's been so long. It's been so long.
Yeah, that's by request for Lino, listening over in California there. Those are the Twilights, a great Philadelphia sound there from 1964 on the Hawthorne record label, song entitled It's Been So Long. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyltreasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with Johnny G, you can send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Been recording this one on my Ustream Live dashboard there, so I'll get this show up in a couple hours. It'll post up. We'll see if the copyright police do anything. But anyway, I had a blast doing the show today. I forgot to give you my weight loss. I did well again. I lost another 4 pounds, so I'm down 54 pounds now since February 15th, so I'm doing pretty well on the diet. Got a few more pounds to go, like 20 pounds or so, maybe a little less, before I get to my goal weight. But anyway, I'm almost there. But anyway, I wanted to let you know that's going to do it, folks. I'll be back next Saturday for my All 60s show. So if you like the 60s sounds, 64 and later, tune in. If not, I'll be back 2 weeks. In 2 weeks for my 50s and early 60s sound, more of this cool stuff out of my collection. And we're going to close the show tonight from March of 64. A few weeks ago, I played a request for Cheryl Morgan. She requested the Cinderellas, a.k.a. the Cookies, a great tune on the Dimension label, a song entitled Baby, Baby, I Still Love You. Well, the B-side is excellent, too, and the writers and producers are the same that produced the A-side, Barry Mann and Russ Tillman, written by Cynthia Weil and Russ Tillman. It features Margaret Ross on lead. Our closer tonight is by the Cinderellas from March of 64 on Dimension. It's called Please Don't Wake Me. But Johnny G's got to wake up because I'm going to church tomorrow with Barbara for Easter Sunday. Want to wish everybody a happy Easter tomorrow, and all those of you celebrating Passover, happy Passover also. But I will be back next Saturday starting at 10 p.m. for the All 60s. Please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities show. Dave is on from 9 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies, and all the shows here during the week on Top Shelf. Once again, that's going to do it. Thanks a lot, Charlene, again, for all your help last minute as we do. But that's going to do it, folks. I'll be back in next week. So just want to say, everybody, so long.
Oh,
Hey, folks. Thanks again for sticking around the whole time there. Appreciate it, all yous that did. And had a blast doing the show. Here's the 45 on the Painted On label. I hate painted on labels, but there it is. The Cinderella's called Please Don't Wake Me. But anyway, Johnny G, like I said, I got to get up tomorrow. And everybody have a happy Easter. I'll be back next Saturday. It's my All 60s show. I'm still looking for Lino's request by that V8s because I have it. I'm going through all these boxes of records. I gotta find it. I'm finding other things I didn't even know I had. You know that feeling when you find stuff you never knew you had, but that's how I feel right now. Had a problem with my mixer. I don't know, when I changed the needle it did something. Maybe it wasn't grounded correctly or something like that. But anyway, the show went well. I enjoyed it. Hope you did too. I'll see you next week, some of you. If not, I'll see you in 2 weeks. So long, everybody. Bye-bye.